Well, hello everyone. Happy holidays. This is the Wrestling Fans Insight Sunday Takedown episode. I'm your host, John Hoppy, joined by my brother William and our co-host Carlos. How you doing, Carlos?
Good, man. I'm exhausted. I had to try to catch up with all the wrestling from Friday, and it was a chore. Let me tell you.
Oh, nice. William, how you doing, brother?
Freaking cold.
Awesome. So apparently we tried to go live on Twitter Space and X Space, whatever the hell you want to call it. And as usual, I'm having fucking malfunctions. So give me a second here, folks, as we're trying to bring it back up. But this week, Will, what'd you think of this week's programming?
This week turned out a lot different, in my opinion, than most weeks go. I think the two shows for me that fell flat were actually NXT and Dynamite. Those were the two that really didn't impress me at all. The rest of it was great.
Oh, and Carlos?
Repeat that one more time. I'm sorry. What did you say? I was sending back a message. What did you say? What shows impressed you?
The two shows that did not impress me that I'm normally more focused on were NXT and Dynamite. Those two fell flat on me this week. The rest of them were good.
I agree with that sentiment.
And before we get going any further, Carlos, we just finally joined the X Space app.
Okay.
Hopefully we're actually going this time. So sorry for the technical difficulties for those.
That's X on X, not Pornhub. Come on, people, don't get your minds out together.
Here we go. But anyways, what was your thoughts this week, Carlos?
Well, it was a lot of wrestling. I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit later on. I think. It's been a great. I know you guys don't like CM Punk, but I'm glad he's back. And again, I'm glad that WWE is letting the fans just kind of. I think Hunter's doing a good job with it, just letting it go how it goes, and the fans want to cheer for him, and they're doing it. I think what they did with Seth Rollins is really good. SmackDown always cooks for me. Rampage was excellent. It was a good week of wrestling. Even Ring of Honor's pay-per-view Collision was good, but I feel the thing with I think the thing with Dynamite is it just the Chris Jericho segment was god awful, and then it just the everything but the main event they're just predictable matches. But overall, I feel like usually, you hear I consume a lot of wrestling stuff for the week just because I work part-time and I try to consume it for the team, and I'll go down a rabbit hole. This is usually a slow time for the wrestling as they're going into the new year. And I feel like that's not been the case this year. And again, to say it easily, we're eating good right now. It's like, as the kids say.
So I kind of want to debunk one thing. It's not that I don't want to see Punk or don't care about Punk. It's just he's crashed and burned twice. So he's kind of on thin ice.
He is on thin ice for sure. But at the same time, I hope people can just enjoy it, because I think it's going really well. And again, I'm as somebody who's in recovery, I'm always going to root for people to get second, third, fourth chances, because I've been giving them in my life, and I'm always going to hope for people to learn humility and gratitude. And if he's getting this now, then I get why people don't believe it, but at the same time, I just feel like AEW lacked the structure, and he was like a wolf in a den full of lamb, like easy slaughter. And I think that he needed the structure of WWE, and it just goes to show that's something that AEW needs, and we can talk about it more. It's just I think some of the wrestlers in AEW are just a little bit too entitled, and they need to get back to basics, But again, I get why people feel that way. And for me, I like chaos too. So again, I'm kind of hoping, but again, as a wrestling fan, I'm glad they're doing this, because I feel like they have everything to gain and nothing to lose. They can always just fire him if he acts up. So,
anyways, yeah. So I don't have.
That's all, guys. Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah. By the way, Wednesday Night Chaos is next. No.
Did you release our show on?
I just did it this morning.
Let's see how you are.
Good Lord. I've been kind of feeling ill, so give me a break, damn it. Anyways. And Sarah and I tried to listen as much as we could.
I appreciate you guys there.
and our service was kind of in and out because we were coming all the way back from Wendover, Nevada. So we were trying to listen as much as we could on our way back home and went straight to bed the minute we got there.
Man,
Which,
that is a
right?
god awful drive.
Well, it only is if it's like storming. It wasn't too bad Wednesday night. So, but hey, at least Mom had a good time. So that was the great part. So
Yep.
that was probably the happiest we've seen her
Yeah.
for quite some time.
You
John,
drive
really
2 hours and you get to see a metal tree.
where were you guys driving from?
Wendover, Nevada.
Why? Were you bowling?
No,
Gambling.
No, we were celebrating our mother's.
You being a pimp again?
No. Besides, you have to go farther in Nevada to be legalized.
Yeah, you pretty much need to get into Elko.
Yeah, but no, our mother was celebrating her 70th birthday, so we decided to take her out for a day, give our father a break, and and she had the happiest time of her life. She was hitting the machines really well, and
Oh, nice.
her
Hey,
aunt,
that's what my grandma likes to spend her birthdays and stuff too. So
so I mean, it was a great time. It was nice spending the time.
Did you give her some gambling money?
Oh yeah,
Good boy.
yeah, that was part of her birthday present from
Good
us.
daddy.
There we go. But no, she's rebounded really well since her medical episode.
That's good. Glad to hear.
A couple months ago. So it's good to see her having fun and smiling and everything, doing what she likes. So spend those moments with your parents if they're still around, folks. Because that's time you'll never get back once they're gone. But anyways, enough of the sentimental bullshit. Well, we get into our first topic for today. And this one was kind of very overbearing because I think a lot of people took it a little further than what it really needs. But it was reported earlier this week, Liv Morgan was arrested for possession of marijuana. You're already laughing. So
Yeah.
let's go ahead and get your thoughts first.
Honestly, I don't care. Yeah. It's been a subject that I don't necessarily agree with because I don't agree with use. Me also being somebody who had to go through recovery. I'm never ever going to be okay with it, but that's somebody else's personal decision and that's their thing.
And where you and Carlos have had addiction in the past, well, let's go to Carlos, get his reaction on that.
I mean, again, SRS said it fast. The people said it online. Quit arresting people for weed. Like this is ridiculous. And again, if it's something that's done, it's illegal in so many other states. You got to, and especially like if they recognize somebody who travels a lot and they're going different places, like. It's like our prison system, all these people, like the way that like other minority communities have been targeted for this kind of stupid stuff throughout these it's just, and again, I don't judge people. I honestly don't think weed's a big deal, but I think any addiction is addiction. It could be sugar, it can be gambling, it could be drugs. Like, I mean, you got to handle your side of the street, but it's like, so I don't judge people who use, because again, if you can handle it, more power to you. I can't, just like with my recovery, I don't do drugs or whatever, but I'll have a drink every so often because it's my recovery, and I live next to a bar. If I had a drinking problem, I'd be there every night, So it's just like that. Whatever your recovery is, your recovery. I don't judge people, but I just think it's stupid, and I think it's tired, it's exhausting, it's a waste of money. It's just a way for people to get fake mad. But the biggest thing for me that's grossing me out, honestly, is all these guys being like, "Oh, she looks hot in her mug shot." It's just like, go touch some grass, IWC, please. Go get touch some grass like Liv Morgan. You guys need to just quit your grossness.
Yeah, that was one of the first things I noted. I'm like, really?
God, like, and again, it's just like, and it's a time where she, it's probably not a happy time for her, and the guy's like, she looks hot still, like how, like, read this is not the thing to be like getting your rocks off on. It's just like, God, this is vile.
Yeah, it's really sad what kind of society we are to focus on something like that when it's a bigger issue. Well,
I'm probably
it really shouldn't be a bigger issue, but it kind of is a serious nature in some states. And I really wish some people had the common sense to realize some idiotic statements made out there it's just not needed. Sorry.
At the same time, like I'm glad that that it's already been reported that she's not in hot water with WWE, and I'm glad that they've loosened up about this kind of stuff. And again, you got and again for me, like I'd rather have a pro wrestler taking marijuana for their pain or whatever anxiety than popping pills any day of the week. So I think it's a natural thing. I've seen enough of it helping people around here. It's like but again, it's like you're gonna have people who always abuse it. I mean, there's customers who come to my store every day and they just reek weed, and I get irritated with them. It's like, really, do you have to do it that much? But at the same time, it is what it is. You can't fault those who use it right. For those who abuse things. But like I said, at the end of the day, I'm just glad that she's not being punished by WWE for this, and that they're not looking into it. And again, I just have some respect for people. It's like, just again, be better, IWC.
For me, I don't mind people using it for medical reasons. Recreational, it kind of drives me nuts. But for me,
you sell more ice cream that way, John. Come on now.
Fuck.
I could care less about that part.
He doesn't need more work for himself.
By the way, to my company owners, this is not an endorsement by me or anything else. So no, I just, for me, what people do at home or whatever with their personal lives, it's none of my business. I don't care to some degree, but if it starts getting to the point where it affects the safety of others, then yeah, that's where shit's gonna go downhill with me real quick, and I'll be very vocal about it. But for the most part, I can't really say something like this. To me, this is just this is kind of like a scrape.
Okay, it happened. There, done.
Yeah. I mean, I think people got butt hurt over it for really no particular reason, but all the Karens out there's got to stir some kind of shit up.
That's where people living on expectations of other people come in. And
it's not even about that. Like everybody, and that thing is, everyone's being fake mad. They're trolling for engagement. I mean, it's like, it's fake mad. It's fake. It's all just people just trolling for engagement.
That's right. And if you really want to get mad, we'll just get Eddie Kingston on you, and he'll go mad keen on your ass. How about that? Oh, that was it. No reaction from either. You both.
I mean, there's so many better guys. How about Athena? How about you throw some women some love? Always the guys, Tony Khan. God.
I think I'd rather see somebody that's being vulgar like that go up against, the Sandman
or Gunther.
Anyways. Let's move on to our next one, because I think this one was just beaten too much here. So it was mentioned Warner Brothers Discovery is now looking at possibly being in the lead for the Raw deal. I think Carlos has been reading up more on this than anything, but the one thing I've noticed is CM Punk is kind of one of the big influential reasons why WBD has taken the lead on the Raw talks. And Carlos, why don't you speak to this?
So I've been down this rabbit hole because I'm first of all, like, I'm scared for AEW. And again, I think it's just fascinating times. I mean, it's just, to me, like, I hope Tony Khan's seeing this and being like, what the fuck did I do? It's like, again, you lost Cody Rhodes, you lost Jade, you lost CM Punk to WWE. I mean, the CM Punk thing, if there was more structure, again, I fault Tony Khan more than I fault CM Punk, because if he had more structure, if he would have been more of a boss, this stuff would have never happened. But again, I think it's just fascinating, the fact that, I mean, again, Triple H, to me, again, we'll talk about this when we do our Year Wars, but to me, he's Booker of the Year just for bringing back CM Punk. I mean, for having, for squashing things and that kind of thing. Because now having him, I mean, they had talked a couple months prior, and the talks really didn't go anywhere. And now with CM Punk being back in the fold, he's kind of reignited these talks. He kind of got them back in the door. It's all kind of hush hush. One guy like Andrew Zarian, from Matman, he works with the Observer too. He usually has a lot of contacts with Warner Brothers Discovery, but he doesn't he doesn't have a lot of information on this, because it's been hush hush. So For me personally, I would love it if they got Raw and kept AEW, because I just think that would symbolize that we're truly away from the Vince era of professional wrestling, and again for Endeavor doing what's smart for business. Part of me does think that this is all. I think part of me just thinks that they're trying to lowball Tony Khan, and this is a way for them to get AEW programming for a lot cheaper. For me, if I can get Dynamite, Collision, Rampage, and if I can get all the AEW pay-per-views for half the price I'm going to pay for Raw, I'm going to go with that deal any day of the week. But again, a lot of this is tied to the NBA, because USA, and they're going to put a bid in for the NBA, and so a lot of these people are that's what this is kind of like a backup plan. So if they lose the NBA to, like, let's say USA, then they want to have Raw as a backup. So a lot of this stuff will not be will not be finalized yet. But to me, if AEW was a hot product like that was 2 years ago, I feel like this wouldn't even be discussing. And so that's why for me, I just feel like Tony Khan, I hope that he starts booking better. I hope that they start doing better things. I mean, again, we can talk about this more. I hope that he's gonna just put on better shows, because I think this is just the product is stale. Like, there was a time for myself personally that I couldn't wait for AEW. Now it's switched back to WWE, and again, I'm just being honest with how I feel. It doesn't mean that I don't support the company, but it's just very stale. And again, it's just sad that it's come to this. But again, what a time to be a pro wrestling fan. And for me, I'm not wishing for the demise. Like, even like on Wednesday, Chris had asked me, because I had said, if I was Tony Khan, I'd send Ricky Starks to a 10-year contract tomorrow. And Chris goes, "You think AEW will be around in 10 years?" And I'm like, yeah. But again, it's like, it's just a scary time. Again, I hope it all works out, because again, if it was to go away, something was to happen, where are all these wrestlers going to work? WWE can't take everybody. So again, it's just a scary time. And it's very interesting because they're all being hush hush. And so I think they are talking to them, but again, they're keeping it very, very close. It's under no one really knows what's going on with this. But the talks have happened.
Oh, me? Yeah, I really haven't been following this, but honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing Discovery pick up Raw.
Would you want them hoping like me? We hope they keep AEW too.
Oh, absolutely. That would make it a lot easier on me on all the different freaking things I've subscribed to. So, and
for me too, like, I'm hoping, like, again, like, if money talks, then I hope that, I mean, I would love to see Warner Bros. Discovery strong arm WWE and be like, okay, we're gonna give, we're gonna do this, but we want you guys to play nice, or do one, or maybe have a crowd. Again, to me as a wrestling fan, I'm looking at it as a hopefully what are more of the positives that can come out of this instead of the negatives, But again, I hope that AEW is not going to lose their home, because again, I just hope they all can coexist.
I think this is just all in spite of MJF to see who's going to get the better contract through programs. As much as I would love to see both companies have programming on one channel, it's not going to happen, especially with the way WWE are very much divas with the whole, we want ours to be the only programming on this channel, and that's it.
Exclusivity.
Yeah, it's
but that was a Vince McMahon thing before.
It was. I just don't think they'll Endeavor will probably want to. I don't see Endeavor really wanting to be the share either, though. Really, I think they would go the same way and want to just keep exclusive with WWE there as far as wrestling content. So the only other thought I could think of is, as much as they've brought Honor Club for Ring of Honor, you can go two ways. You can do your own network for AEW, or it wouldn't be a bad idea maybe to start shopping elsewhere. Unfortunately, I don't know what other stations out there would you really have room to play with, because Turner and whoever, is it Universal that owns USA?
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, Turner and Universal are your two big major network channels right there. So you got to land with one or the other, or, you could really tell a WWE go pound sand and go after Fox. So there's not a bad option there for Tony Khan either.
I mean, that's something I thought about too. Is why not? Why not go to Friday nights and do Dynamite on Friday nights, and then you could have, or even do Collision on Friday nights, and you could have one of the shows on FS1. The football partnership there, the corporate synergy. Again, for me, it's gonna be an interesting time, and because also too, I don't think SmackDown's gonna stay on Friday nights. If I had to guess, I think it moves back to Thursdays, or even. So again, it's just gonna be interesting to see how it all falls. But at the same time, the thing that everybody keeps pointing out to is the fact that there's another fighting league that's on ESPN and as well as UFC. So they fight. All these people they point to the fact that Endeavor lets there be another show on ESPN. So that's what they keep saying with this new regime. Maybe this is a sign that they're just worried about the money, and they're not, and they'd be okay with them being on the same channel. Again, it's fascinating to me. And again, I'm interested to see how it all plays out.
And we want to give some shout outs here in the room at that Nasty Leroy, at Chris Haas, and SK9. Chris Haas, how are you today, my friend?
Saged up, pay a little, get a lot. NVStream702.com, the only place you should ever watch anything. The Saged Up Network is the obvious choice for where anything should appear.
Get the rights for
NVStream702.com. The only place you should go to watch anything. And I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing okay for the time being. So,
can I point out a major difference between the PFL and the UFC?
Go for it.
There we go.
Yeah, the UFC makes a ton of money and the PFL's losing money. So
okay. Oh, just like AEW, WWE. Perfect. See?
Yeah. Well, I mean, AEW is closer to break even. The $2 million for the Ngannou fight isn't for Francis Ngannou. It's for his opponent. We don't even know who that person's name is yet. So if you know who is worth $2 million to fight Francis Ngannou, you're not going to recoup your investment when you're paying Francis Ngannou a whole lot more than that. So I mean, it's a little bit of apples and oranges, and Disney has the right to take money from both advertisers, and if the PFL wants to lose money going on ESPN, they're more than happy to cash those checks as well.
Oh, I was waiting for Carlos to add more to it, but I guess
no. Again, I just think it's fascinating. But at the same time, I think that's the thing where you guys were talking about. I think if WWE, they're gonna be like, okay, I'm the mayor, you're the Rhoda, and so it would be interesting to me. But again, I think for me, the big thing you heard from Warner Bros. Discovery is that they want to cut costs. So to me, if you get AEW for $200 million a year, and you get all the pay-per-views on your Discovery, you get the library, you get all these different shows. To me, I would stick with them, but I'd also just ask Tony Khan to just, again, hopefully get better. But at the same time, maybe this is the year they're waiting to see how this keeps going out. But again, it's fascinating to me how they got here again. And to me, it's like our little soap opera going on. Days of Our Lives.
Like Sands.
Yeah. Hourglass. Yeah.
Sands of the Hourglass.
Nasty Leroy, how are you doing today?
I'm in pain.
Uh-oh. Carlos break your heart again?
Like from a match or what? Or
yeah, from a match.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm in pain.
Uh-oh.
I lost a battle royal.
Oh, there.
Not a physical pain.
Not a physical pain?
Nah, I held up last night, so.
Where were you wrestling at?
Scottsboro, Alabama, for New South Wrestling.
Oh, congrats.
Nice.
It's a independent promotion that Randy runs in Alabama, all over Alabama, like North Alabama. Yes, sir. I think that's my last booking for them.
Because you didn't go over, or what? Like, fuck this place.
No, I'm just not listening to in the company no more. I used to be listened to,
Gotcha.
but they don't listen to me, so I'm not fucking going back to them.
Yeah.
Sad, but you know, I have good ideas and nobody wants to use my good ideas.
No, those
You
bunch.
gotta go ahead, John.
I was gonna say those bunch of rat bastards. We'll have to go have a talk with them then.
Yeah, I'm not going to Alabama. Good luck with that.
Alabama's all right. It's okay. It's not what I thought it was at first. No, I've when I first came to promotion, the first 2 years I pitched matches, and then those matches got okay. Like I literally hit up the promoter and told him what I wanted to do, and I had a rhyme and reason of my storytelling that I always do. It was simple. It was easy to digest, and I was like, and also I kept having these situations of like he's bringing these dudes in that's fucking they be shooting on people, be stiffing. I don't say shooting on people. I say stiffing the shit out of people. And like if I be in the ring or be in like over my damn self, I'm gonna have to shoot on my damn self. So just because they bring the ring, they get brooked on shit, and it's like, bro, I'm not doing this shit no more. I'm not gonna have you shoot on. I'm not gonna have you not even stiff me. See if you stiff me for one thing, but then you try to shoot on me. It's a problem. Because then I'm gonna get upset. And then when I get upset, I'm gonna actually start shooting on you, and I'm gonna start actually fighting. And I think people think because I do like what's a comedy stick, I guess, because I do comedy, but I'm not a comedy wrestler. I just do comedy. But I think because I do comedy, I won't actually put these hands on people. So, especially if you disrespect me. So, I've gotten to that point where, hey, one day I might the Philly might come out of me, and it's not gonna be for a good thing. It's not gonna be the good Philly. It's not gonna be the Philly and the Atlanta might come out of me for real. Like, I might be like fucking little scrappy, you don't want no problems type shit. You know, lucky if you buck crime my type of action. But yeah, I did that last book, and I wanted to get that out the way because I ain't been there in a minute. So, not doing there no more. I'll be still going to Alabama for another promotion, but it's one of my friend runs it, so I get to do stuff there. So, they were in Tennessee and Alabama, but gonna be more. I'm gonna go more. Be up in Northeast more, so especially moving back home and shit. So Northeast and Midwest, a little bit of Mid South action with OVW. So, all right, that's all I have to say.
All right. Why don't we go ahead and move on to the next big topic we got? You might know this is going to make Carlos really happy. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see it yet. I'm going to be subscribing to Honor Club here. But Carlos, you want to talk about the Ring of Honor final battle results a bit there?
Yeah, so it was kind of a clusterfuck of matches. I mean, so it was really good. I'm glad that I watched it when I got off work because honestly, there was some things I just had to fast forward through. Like I didn't get. He added So let me just talk about this. The one thing I was disappointed about with the product is that there wasn't two women's. I feel like there should have been at least two women's matches announced on the card. He added Nyla Rose against some developmental talent during the pay-per-view, which didn't make sense. You're gonna have a developmental match on a pay-per-view, like that made no damn sense to me. So he did have
Vixen.
Yeah, it's like
Oh, Vixen. I think she was like, you know what I think in that situation? Because I've been in that situation. She probably was there, and Nyla wanted to get on the pay view, and they was like, "Listen, I don't know if I can have somebody yet in time." So probably like the day of the pay view, somebody saw Vert Vixen is like, "Hey, you got your gear?" And he was like, "Yeah, I got my gear." And it's like, that's what it was. And she's local, so would have got a little reaction, you know. Same thing like with the Brian Keefe stuff, but the Brian Keefe, he was actually being used and shit, not just that job. But even he did that one job, decided to use him and shit. I think that was like his tryout and stuff. But I feel like they're gonna sign her. It's just like I think it was like a test, like, hey,
but to me though, like so what, but my point is this: like if you watch the Ring of Honor programming, which I do, like usually there's like 3 or 4 women's matches on their show. Like he uses it to fill up time. But then when it comes to the pay-per-view, he doesn't give them 2 scheduled matches, and that really pissed me off because it's like if you're gonna feature the women on the show every week, then those same women they should at least get another match on the pay-per-view, and it shouldn't just be a Nyla Rose versus a local talent on a pay-per-view match being added with no build-up. That was bullshit. And for me, the thing about then you had the main event was Athena winning she actually was victorious over Billy Starks. This was a match everybody thought Billy Starks was going to win, and so I have mixed feelings about this one. So here's the thing, and again, I think we all know how Tony Khan feels about the women, but my biggest thing for this was, and like if you look at the title if you're watching us on Facebook or on YouTube or anything else, Twitch, we have this on. It says Ethan Page watch has begun, and the reason why it says this is because you have Ethan Page right now, a guy who has put in the work on his body, who's good on the mic and everything else. So I'm looking to see if Tony Khan's going to reward this guy for putting in the work. Like if you look at AJ Styles and Randy Orton, they came back in tremendous shape. Like that's something we don't see in AEW. And so I'm looking for that is for Tony Khan. Like, are you gonna start rewarding the talent that's put in the work in to better themselves and giving them a better shot, or is it going to be business as usual? And for me, with Athena, if Tony Khan's not going to utilize her on the main brand yet, on AEW, Dynamite, or Collision, then I'm okay with him keeping the title on her because she's doing the best work. She's in the Ring of Honor. She's carrying the show. But at the same time, he should have rewarded. She should be being rewarded for that right now. And she should be getting promoted to Dynamite to go feud with Tony Storm, or Collision to go feud with Julia Hart. Like she's been carrying this brand for a year, and it should be her time to get promoted and be moving on to the bigger brand. And so for me, like it's a mixed emotions because it's like, if you're not gonna utilize her, just keep the belt on her. But at the same time, she's earned that spot, and she should be moving up. And that just goes to show like. He needs to be booking these women better and booking them like he does the guys. Like the perfect example is for me, like one match that I would have loved to see on this is I would have loved to see Top Flight and Action Andretti taking the Ring of Honor 6-man titles off of the Mogul Embassy. Instead, they're going to be fighting the Acclaim on Saturday. And again, if they beat them, I'm not going to be mad. But at the same time, while Dante Martin was out for like the last 9 months, you've been featuring Action Andretti and Darius on Ring of Honor every week, and now that he's back, you're moving them. You're just moving them up to Dynamite, and it's not. So why isn't Athena getting that same treatment? And again, she's earned it. These guys haven't really earned it yet. They've been losing every week, so why not build them up in Ring of Honor? Like I get that he loves Dante Martin, but at the same time, like it's not the same coherency out of everything else. It's not the same flow for everything, and that's what's making me upset. And for me, like I'm really mad that we didn't get Josh Woods on the show. Like Kyle Fletcher has not done anything to earn the title, and yet you've had these other people that have been carrying this brand, being on there every week. Like he should have rewarded this. Oh, Dalton Castle getting eliminated early just left a really bad taste in my mouth. Like again, I'm gonna always just the people that should have been rewarded for what they've been doing for the brand, for the sacrifice, they were not rewarded. Again, Tony Nese I was the one. Like again, I love the Tony Nese Ethan Page match. Like it was good to see them get that thing. It was good to see, you know, like good to see what's his name with what's the guy's name that Keith Lee fought? Sean Taylor. Like it's good seeing Shane Taylor, Keith Lee get that match, but it's not even about Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Now they're going back. Now they're using this to kind of pull Keith Lee back to fight Swerve, which is fine. But then again, I'm not going to be mad about the Briscoes and the FTR fighting, you know, the Blackpool Combat Club. But he shouldn't have to be. He shouldn't be having to get these guys on there to get them to watch Ring of Honor. He should just have a better. He has so much talent. They should be focusing on Ring of Honor and building that brand and making it something special. And so to me, I enjoyed it, but at the same time, I just let the bad taste in my mouth because they're not promoting the people like Athena, utilizing the guys that have been there from the brand since day one, and he's just kind of adding some glitter to it to get people to watch the show, and that was kind of disappointing to me. But you definitely should watch it. There was a lot of good action, but the wrong people won. The wrong people aren't being moved up, and again, it's just another missed opportunity.
Although I feel you because I watched the pay-per-view, and I literally thought the way they was building, like Billy Starks was going to win. I also I do think the other than the main event, I think the Ethan Page match stole the show. That really
Oh, absolutely. I mean, because again, Tony Nese can wrestle, man, and it's and he hasn't been utilized properly at all. And it's and again, AEW it's not a bad thing, but again, Tony Khan should be looking at these guys and being if these guys are putting in the time and effort to build a good story, they're putting in the work on their bodies, they're building their stuff. Reward these guys with TV time, man.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And take the, and that's the thing, and again, and I'm going to jump ship, and that's my thing, I'm talking about, the entitlement of AEW's of their roster. You look at, you got guys like AJ Styles and Randy Orton coming in back in their mid-40s in tremendous shape, looking like $1 million, and all these guys in AEW just look like they're losing muscle mass and they're not even going to the gym anymore. And then so it's they're getting rewarded for just showing up, and it's no, reward the guys who are putting in the work, working on their bodies, working on their mic skills, and they're not just there because they feel entitled to get on TV every week. Give these, look at Tony Nese, looks like $1 million. So does Ethan Page. Utilize these guys because they've earned it, and start punishing these other guys who aren't doing what they need to be doing to look like superstars.
All right.
Yeah.
And that was another missed opportunity too. Is you literally both your Ring of Honor tag team champions are injured right now. He should have took the titles off of them, and he should have had the Infantry should have been on there with the Kingdom and the Workhorsemen and then
one of those tag teams should have been the tag team champions.
He should have just took the belts off these guys, and those guys along with Boulder and the other guys, the Aryan Savages, they should have all been fighting for the Ring of Honor tag titles, and he should have fixed that instead of keeping these titles on two guys who are both injured. And my other big thing is too, Eddie Kingston's the champion right now. They should have had one of the Continental Classic matches with Eddie Kingston on the show instead of just booking Eddie Kingston last minute and putting him on a match. And again, I love Anthony Henry, but it's booking him last minute. It was just really poorly. It was really poorly executed, and that's your champion, man. He just deserves better than that as well.
Yeah, I definitely. I've been saying that for a minute. That they should have been took the belts off of it. But whenever I say something about MJF, he want to jump down my neck about because I dislike him. No, I was just saying, hey, bro, we need to take the titles off of him. Infantry is out here putting out banger matches. The fucking Outrunners are killing it.
The Outrunners are another one too. Exactly.
The Iron Savages are killing it. All those teams.
They're all killing it. Exactly. And that's the thing too. If you look if you look at Monday Night Raw with 13, for example, they're bookmarking the show, right? So they're doing a thing where they start off with a really, really good opener and a really good main event. Tony Khan should have utilized this. The fact that you had, the Blackpool Combat Club versus the FTR and the Briscoes, and then you had let's say the Vikingo and Black Taurus opening the show. He should have utilized this time to give these guys time to shine instead of just posh and all these other matches together. You know, like he should have just all those guys should have been on this match. There was 14 matches, and when it was 5 hours, and it wasn't even the people that have been carrying this brand for the last year. It was just that was just disappointing.
I as much as I love the company and John can speak, I just there's things they need to work on as much in any other company. But like, yeah, I don't use it as a personal thing. I just know like a lot of these guys are busting their ass on Ring of Honor. They're doing their thing. I pretty much said this, and it's not even because I know people. I say the infantry and the fucking Iron Savages and the fucking Outrunners are probably like the most entertaining tag team in that promotion right now, to be honest.
In AEW and in Ring of Honor, period. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that whole promotion. All those three tag teams are the most entertaining tag teams. This is just why I say Carly Bravo and Sean Dean got the cool factor, and they're cool ass soldiers. Iron Savages are cool, and like they're doing their bodybuilding thing, but it's not like it's not cheesy or nothing like that. It's not like it's cheesy in a good way of like how like they're throwing it back to like the WWF times and shit, but they're like they got catchphrases and they got all this stuff. Like, and I know they like them because I hear from Jameson Ryan, who trained at the factory, they like him. But the fact is, they're not being used the proper way, I think, to show their ability on a Collision enough. I think they should be on a Collision. I feel like if you give all these teams a solid run on the main shows, and do your Ring of Honor shit, Carly, the infantry, Iron Savages, and the Outrunners will be over. All three of them will be over. All three, and I know you're like, oh, only one could be over, but like you can like.
No, they can all be over. It's just like the Attitude Era and everybody is over. So like, but like what you're saying, like, for perfect example, like so like that's where I think he needs to identify. Okay, like you guys are Ring of Honor, right? So if there's a need for a developmental match on Dynamite, then the guys that are in Ring of Honor, it's the inferior brand, so they should be the ones on Dynamite and Rampage getting jobbed out. You know, it's like, or even getting 5 minutes, but let them get over with, and even in losing effort on that show. Quit bringing all these other talents in from these other companies. Like you use that for Ring of Honor, bring them on Ring of Honor, and let the guys who are Ring of Honor, who are your talents that you think are your future, go be the developmental guys on your Dynamite and Collision, just like WWE uses NXT for the same purposes. Get those guys the exposure and give it to the talent that you've already invested in.
Oh yeah, and I think they should use the guys that are on Ring of Honor, more often, but also but as far as what they did at first, they were using a lot of, and they was just like guys, local talent, enhancement talent on Collision. You use that for Collision, and then you can use the some local talent in Collision and stuff. Collision and Ring of Honor, my bad. And then the main stars that they got in, like the infantry, the Iron Savages, the Outrunners, the Workhorsemen, you keep them as a attraction, and you keep building them. I really, like I said like before, I really believe you give them some time, right? Maybe like 3 to 6 months. All three of those teams could be over in all different ways, and they definitely can. You can definitely stick all of them on Dynamite. You can definitely stick all of them on Collision, but you can also pick and choose which one you want.
But also, like, if the plan is to make Swerve a babyface, stick him with the infantry. Like, that should be his new crew right there.
I get it, but I would. So if I'm Tony, I'm gonna have the Gates of Agony just be with Swerve and not Brian Cage.
But at the same time, though, I feel like if you look at the way the programming is, everybody the fans want to root for Swerve. So if he's gonna be a babyface, I don't think the rest of them flow with that. I think they're all heels.
Yeah, you think he's gonna turn soon?
Oh yeah, the fans are cheering him on. I think you got to sometimes listen to the crowd. I feel like they're cheering him on, like he's turning. He's totally babyface.
I feel the same way with fucking Nyla Rose. Like fucking people be cheering for Nyla Rose, and she ain't been a real heel in a long time. So I feel it's only a matter of time that they should fucking turn Nyla Rose official.
I agree because her personality, she's so damn funny. She's a natural babyface.
She's so likable. So
Yep.
it is likable and shit. So yeah, give her a good storyline, no matter what brand, and let's build that shit up. Collision, fucking Ring of Honor, just need to be built. Don't just gonna give them random matches. I'm happy for Vert Vixen who got a match because I know how that is. But like, give her a story and she can sink her teeth in. She can tell a story, make her be the babyface that she is. Same
But
thing
at the same time, to your point though, that spot should have went to Trish Adora. It should have been Trish Adora versus Nyla.
Oh, I automatically don't give me on a rant about Trish Adora.
Yeah, right. But you know what I'm saying? Like, or that should have been what's her name? Layla Hirsch, or or Rachel Eller, all these people who've been on the show regularly, they should have been the ones in that match. Like that's where it was upsetting.
I think the upsetting part is if they give somebody that's not Trish Adora a TV title that they reviewed, the TV Women's Championship is sadly disappointing. Like if they don't give it to either Billy Starks or Trish Adora, it'll be upsetting. But I really think it should go to Trish Adora. She should be the inaugural champion and be built in the story. And her story should be around the title reign about like, I guess like if you want to say a fighting champion, a scrappy champion, always defending champion, like that type stuff. Come out with the infantry, do the thing that they do, and the infantry should be the baby face that they keep being are because they're cool as baby faces. And they're just like, how can you not like a fucking like they just look like they ready to party, like they just look like you ready to get behind them and party and like cheer for them. It's the same thing. Like I feel like all those teams, like the Outrunners, the Infantry, the Iron Savages, of like, all right, they're relatable because some people know, where people like they're cool RS Army people, but they're not like they rap it, but they're rapping in a cool way. We in the streets, we be partying, but we still rap our military. Hey, we're workout guys, Iron Savages, but we also be, they're not like saying we're super jack guys and they don't look super jack guys other than the one guy. They're like, what is it? Dirty Bronson says, he's like, there's the Fat Jack Army. He's like, yo, I've never been able to. He did a whole promo on his Twitter about how he was never be able to like really lose weight, but tone up and never look like he's like abs. But I get in the gym every day. I train every day. And there's people like that are fat and they're jacked. So it's like that's relatable, and you're like motivating people. And the Outrunners are like these like from another dimension, like they look in a time warp, like they went back to the future. And they say the thing I always liked about that gimmick the first time I saw them is like they say they're the youngest men alive, but they're really old. So it's like they're like, yo, we're the longest man alive, but we're still stuck back in 1987. So I think that's just a fantastic character arc. So, but yeah, Trish Adora should be the world TV champion, and we get Travis Lee if it don't, because you got a top 5 that are alive right now wrestler in pro wrestling, not just women's wrestler, but top 5 that are alive right now in wrestling that can go with a lot of different people, no matter what their gender is. That's what I feel. But I've seen it with all different opponents. So, and just good personalities. You don't get to show it off that often. So,
I stand by my tweet yesterday. I think they should scrap the women's Ring of Honor women's title, and they should make a women's hardcore championship, because when those women last night on Collision, they went balls to the walls. Well, that's not really have balls, but they turned it out. And anytime the women are in a hardcore match on AEW television, like the fans are up on their seats, they are paying attention, they get over. Like to me, I to do something different to get the women over, I would do a women's hardcore champion.
Why are you reading my tweets?
Did you see the same thing?
Yeah, I said the same thing.
But no, seriously, like you like I think like the match, like when like the match that that Taya and Anna Jay had against the Bunny and what's her name? What's Skip Stadium's wife's name? Yeah, that was like one of the best women matches ever, you know. And like, and anytime this woman, like they're willing to go through that for the fans, like every hardcore match they've had, like the one that Ruby Soho had a couple like back then with hers, the same girls, like the fans, like they get those matches get over, and like they should absolutely just do something different to get the women's division over. They should absolutely do a hardcore championship for the women, because the women, they go all out and the fans are into it.
Well, I've already said this before. Like the surprising thing for me is it's not even like the women going hardcore for me. The one person that surprised me that did even a hardcore match in general was fucking like Anna Jay and shit. Like,
yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. You're a pretty girl that's not afraid to blade and like to get bloody is like, let's go, you know, like that to me, like it's just cool, like that they're not, you know, it's breaking so many stereotypes of what people think, and it's like they're willing to do whatever. And again, the fact that they're willing to do that to get over for the love of the business, because they want, you know, they love this, they love professional wrestling, you know, paying homage, I think, to like her and Ty both. I mean, even Ty has, even though she has the martial arts background, like to me is like, let's cook. Even like seeing Willow do it, like, oh my gosh, like really, like it's just, to me, like it's just like, I mean, I'm not surprised seeing Mercedes and Diamante do it. I mean, good Lord, I don't want to see those women down a dark alley, you know, that's, you know, but it's like, but seeing these other people do it it taps into something, and it just shows a heart. And again, and it instantly wins over the fans. So and for me, like, and again, we're talking about the women's division. Like, again, kudos to Tony Khan for putting 2 women's matches on Collision last night. But it should have just been a longer women's match instead of a squash match. But at the same time, and then to me too, like, I don't know if you guys saw it, but Thunder Rosa came back, but she came back to like just kind of help out Abaddon. And to me, like, she should have it's just a missed opportunity. Like, she should be going directly after the women's title. And again, it all just ties into help. Again, I think Tony Khan shows his action like feels about the women, but at the same time, you have a lot of women that care about this. You know, Ruby Soho's coming out and said that she, you know, her heart's with AEW. She's not going anywhere. You know, it's like they lost out on Mercedes, it looks like. You know, it's like they need to just Monet. I just want better for them, because they earned it, you know. And again,
exactly.
And again, just the 2 women's matches. Okay, the effort's there, but next week let's make it 2 good women's matches and not just a squash match. And you know, I don't need to see Brian Cage squash somebody to show me these over. Just book him better, and I'll believe him to be a more viable person than see him get a squash match yesterday just so he can go fight Keith Lee. And just do better for them, because they've earned it, and trust in the process. And let us fans show that by getting the better ratings and showing up and supporting these women. Like, let us put our money where our mouth is, but just give us the platform to do it.
Well, I will say this. I'll say this, and this is I've said this before. The thing about this, and I really feel like this. Now, he does this. Let's just say this is given a scenario. He does this, right? He start having the women have banger matches, right? They start like at all shows, right? And he gives. And this is not me. This is like what I've seen on the internet and what I've seen from people in general. You give Trish Adora, you give Willow, you give Ruby, you give all these people that are great performers, right? And you give Mercedes Martinez, Dorla Diamante, you get all these people. You have them have good matches. 9 times out of 10. and this is the sad part is a lot of motherfuckers they ain't willing to watch women's wrestling, period. Let alone a hardcore match or a hardcore title match, because a lot of dudes out here just don't like women's wrestling, and it's the sad part, because I honestly think this is me. This is just me, of like not only just being in wrestling but watching wrestling. Like I honestly think most times, like when you have something to prove, it's more of a better match, and I feel like a lot of those women have something to prove. So, and also, I really feel like this. I never really asked this to Willow, but her friend told me this. Solo Darling, who's she's like taking some time away from wrestling. When they was what was that tag team called? Something in the B. It was like something in the B, like Birdie and the B or some shit like that. Anyway, when they were the tag team, I thought they was fire. Now the thing about I met Willow in 2020, but I wouldn't follow her work for a while. So she told me that she wanted to do like more hardcore stuff and just do one death match and shit. And I just think like Willow is becoming like, I think she's like, especially with the story that they're building, she's becoming, their particular person that wants to do like these hardcore matches, but also put some little bit of dress up in it. Because I watched it over, and I watched the other than Thunder Rosa returning, I watched the match, that hardcore match, and I was like, I don't remember like fucking Chris Statlander doing many hardcore matches, so that was a shock for me. Like when I seen it, but Willow, she just flows really good in that environment of like doing that type of match. But also, she also we all know she can do other matches, but like, like all right, I can dabble in the hardcore, I can dabble in regular matches, I can just dabble in fucking technical wrestling / storytelling matches. I can do all this stuff. And I really feel like Trish Adora and Willow, and I'm gonna just be hella biased for a second. I really feel Trish Adora and fucking Willow, because I know national TV don't do this, but if they was to dive into the waters of intergender wrestling, like you put somebody against Willow, like say for example, you put Willow against Jack Perry, and a lot of people gonna be mad because it's a woman versus man. But a lot of people don't even like women's wrestling. They don't even like watching women wrestle, let alone hardcore matches. But for me, I said this and I tweeted it. Like at Willow, Rhea Ripley, who else did I say? I said Colin King and Trish Adora was the fucking wrestle, and then also Jordan Grace did matches, did intergender matches. I wouldn't even blink twice. Everybody else would have a problem with it, but I wouldn't have a problem with it. But the whole point is like, that's what I would like to see. But I know they're not going to do it on TV. Let alone, dudes don't like to see women's wrestling. These motherfuckers out here is sexist as hell.
But at the same time, though, I don't agree. Like I don't agree with that statement, because if you look at WWE, like it wasn't until Charlotte Flair really came in and then Nikki Bella, like they really, it takes the right woman's talent to get the wrestling over. Like even if you look at SmackDown, like when the weeks where the women's main event, like their ratings have gone up when the women have been on television. So that statement's not true. And there's also the time where like the thing is like there was times I think like where when Collision when Rampage was really cooking, like there was a segment with Ruby Soho that beat out SmackDown when it was on FS1. Riho's also beat out NXT. That's one of the big things they talk about her. So I get they want like good match. They don't want to see botchy women's matches. They want good women's wrestling. And again, for me, if I'm Tony Khan, you have that with your women's roster. Just give them a chance to cook. Like, of course, they're naturally they're going to turn up because they have a pre-notion. Like you're saying, what you're saying is a lot of pre-notion. Like, oh, the women are on, let me turn it. But if they start giving them the chance to really cook and build storylines, they would, because the problem right now with a lot of these women matches is there's no storyline to them. It's just two women thrown together to fight. But if you're giving them the proper storylines, I think it would be a totally different story.
I have a chance to cook, and the only time that's why I feel like the only chance that they give it a chance to cook, I really feel the only few people they really gave a chance to cook is like Sky Blue, Willow for a short period of time, and of
Julia
course,
Hart. I mean, look at her how over she's gotten.
Yeah. Julia Hart. I was just about to say her. Julia Hart. Those are the only people that recently they've been like giving them a chance to cook. But
look at the same time, look how over Ruby Soho was when she first came into the company, and then he didn't put the towel on her, and he didn't book her consistently, and now she's cooled off.
Yeah, I definitely feel it. Look, you'll never get me. Like, even if my reaction to Ruby Soho wasn't the best, I'm still gonna be a Ruby Soho fan, and like I feel like that was a definitely missed opportunity that they didn't capitalize not only just once but twice. And have her win the championship or win the tournament and stuff. Like, regardless, I personally like. Listen to this, dude. I feel like this is just me. I feel like if I ever got the ear of Tony, and I know a lot of fans want to have the ear of Tony, and a lot of promoters, I just be like, hey man, listen. I feel like you're missing the core of good television. Putting on some good women's wrestling matches, and I feel like if you could put on Trish Adora on a week, I say give it. I'll tell Tony give it 3 months. Matter of fact, give it 6 months. Give Willow 6 months. Give all the women 6 months to be on TV and get quality stories. And if not, if you don't want to do it, then give it 3 months. And I feel like with a good quality story, and then we're not even like, I don't think a lot of people get confused with AEW, which I had to realize that AEW is not a storyline promotion. And I think people need to realize that there's not, but you just need to have a storyline in matches. The matches tell the story. Hey, tell the story, have a little bit of promos. That's what AEW is. And the formula is, hey, we're fighting because of this. Oh, you did me wrong because of this. Or you don't believe I can win this title because of this. And have the particular baby face like a Willow. Willow being that she's a good talent. The one thing I did like about Tony, what he did was with the fucking Julia Hart thing, it was a slow build, but it wasn't that slow. It was like probably like it took maybe like a month or two, maybe 3 months to really cook for me to see that Willow was changing for a little bit. She was a little changing, but all in all, when she had the match, I think the tag match, she was like, yo, I don't have no problems with Chris Statlander. Me and Statlander are good. So Julia Hart couldn't get the all-in-all positivity and just good fair or Willow to turn, but she got Sky Blue to turn. And it made it official that they finally put the trigger on fucking Sky Blue.
So I think it's gonna be Sky Black now, isn't it? They said Sky Black.
Yeah, that was a good sign about it. Yeah. Like, I feel like this is that I was just telling this to my friend Sir Wilkins, and he was like, "Yo, I don't watch." He's like, "I don't watch it." And he say, "I don't watch it for the storyline. I watch for the match." As they say, but I feel like AEW does this better, and I feel like this. A lot of people argue it, but telling the story in the ring is great. Telling a story with promos is cool too, but you only need about a few promos and mainly tell the story, because that's what I feel like AEW is about. It's not where like everybody has to have 50,000 promos or like 10 promos, and I also think a lot of people expect they expect World Wrestling Entertainment stuff from a place that doesn't call it World Wrestling Entertainment. They don't do. They do sports entertainment, but it's like they have one story does sports entertainment, the other does pro wrestling storytelling. And what pro wrestling storytelling is, we're going to tell a story in the ring. We're going to have maybe like 3 promos each week for that particular person. And you got to know why they're fighting. And if you're not tuned in, if you're not watching, then that's your fault. That's really your fault. And that's what they should say. Hey, listen, that's your fault. You're missing great action. You shouldn't be missing this action here at AEW. You shouldn't be missing the television champion, the women's television, Ring of Honor television champion, Trish Adora, as she defends her championship against Rachel Ellerman. She's on her 8th defense. Can she hold the championship? Is she a fighting champion? Can the woman from DC, from the military, can the infantry's own Trish Adora hold the championship? Can Willow defeat Athena for the Ring of Honor World Champ Women's World Championship? She's had 2 chances. Can this be her 3rd chance? You're not gonna have like some, and then this is like, you can't have WWE shit with AEW shit. I just like, just put it more simply. And it's like, I don't think people get that. Like, or the best thing about Ring of Honor in the past is, I don't think Tony got that, because I don't think Tony gets this. Like, I would like to have Maria, because she's like a manager, but I would like to have Maria be a part of the women's division. In the back, like, have her be a booker for Ring of Honor. I think she's doing that now. I think so. And then matter of fact, have her run Ring of Honor and do Collision, and have other people like maybe like a Jimmy Jacobs do, and in a group, and maybe like Will Washington and his group have Collision, and then Jimmy Jacobs and Maria do Ring of Honor. Like, and the thing about Ring of Honor is, you got to tell a story in the ring, and that's what Ring of Honor does. But tell a story with promos, and then say why they're fighting. Like, the commentators are going and like explain it, because they got great commentators. The best thing about Ring of Honor and the best thing about AEW is it needs to be that format. You have one sports entertainment storyline. That's all you need. And they was doing that for a minute. It just kind of, I feel like it's flopping. Like, I feel like it's flopping on, like, I don't feel like they know who, like, I feel like they're switching the guy back and forth. Because everybody's like, this is Jack Perry. And for a minute, it did look like Jack Perry. I'm not going to hold you. But I honestly feel like they was like, nah, let's just don't use Jack Perry. Let's use Sami Callihan, because the guy last time was a little bit more bigger. And he looked a little shorter, but they didn't show all his things. So I feel like they changed out Jack, and they was like, yo, Sami Callihan, we need you to be the devil. That's what I feel. I personally feel that shit. But yeah, have that one sports entertainment storyline, which is the devil. Everything else is storytelling in the ring. Like, can this person win the championship? Can this person hold the championship? Is this a person scrappy fighting champion? Like, the way I also love the way they told the story in fucking that hardcore match with Mercedes Martinez, and they build that shit up. That's been like going on for like 3 to 4 months now. And the way they build it up, it was like, hey, I'm gonna have the OG fucking tag with fucking Chris Statlander. And then slowly and surely they turned on them, and then they jumped them, and then they had like, okay, I have a reason to get behind Chris Statlander. And like they kind of fused the storyline with Julia Hart and fucking and the Mercedes Martinez match, and I like that because it told like, hey, listen, I was under control. I was taken by the dark arts, but now I'm back to my happy self. I have no problem with Chris, and now I'm gonna fight with Chris. And like you tell that story like they did, but a lot of these people are not ready for that shit because they want to complain and bark and like you're not selling out this and you're not doing this. Well, if you fucking can get your shit right and fucking just tell a decent story and just have like your groups of people in your groups, you have Will Watson in his group, you have Maria in her group, you have Jimmy Jacob in a group, and everybody needs to have a show. And then it comes down to not only this one person. Tony can be like, listen, I want to put this match on. And then the groups would be like, hey, we can tell the story doing this and doing that. And this person could be the bay face and this person could be the heel. Hey, Athena has been running rampant on fucking Ring of Honor. So we want to keep her doing her same thing, but introduce it to her people who watching Collision and stuff. Same thing for Billy Starks. We want to run the Billy Starks storyline or from Ring of Honor to Collision. Keep that afloat or put it on Collision TV. Like, don't change the fucking whole thing. That's what I feel. You have both shows. Hey, Infantry, you're gonna be going against the you're gonna be going against the Bucks. All right, the Bucks, you're gonna tell a story about how you're the veteran tag team and you're not gonna let this spot up, and the Infantry's gonna show you they're the new kids on the block. They're the new guys on the block. They've been alive for too long, and they taking it in there. So now the Infantry can play the role of like, hey, we're anti-hero, badass guys that were cool, but we're gonna do this the way how we want to do it. And like this is a simple story of like, hey, can they beat this person? Can they beat that person? And like that's what I would do personally to tell Tony that. Because it's a simple booking. Like, it's just easy to, like, anybody get that. And if you complain about that, I don't know. You just a fickle-ass fan who just want to complain about shit. So.
Right, thanks, Leroy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry that was super long, but I had to get that point in there.
No, I feel you. And you feel you. And then I really quick because we're about to end the show. I just want to answer. We had a question in the chat real quick for SK9. Asked, will Nick Nina show up at World's End pay-per-view? If you guys haven't heard the news, Kenny Omega's hurt. Thoughts and prayers go out to him. My personal opinion on that is if they weren't going to bring him, and I definitely would now, and I'd actually have him be Jericho's partner in that tag team title match. That's my 2 cents.
Oh yeah, like yeah, has to be because
I mean I would bring him in. Like I said, I would bring him in and have him be Jericho's partner.
Yeah, you're not gonna stick him with his brother.
No, but that to me, because there's nobody, because Jericho burned unless to me it has to be Nick Nemeth or Daniel Garcia, one of the two. But that's just because he's burned bridges with everybody else. And so to answer that question from the person in the chat again, thank you for joining us today. For me, if he wasn't going to be there, I definitely would bring him now, and I'd actually have him replace Kenny Omega as Chris Jericho's tag team partner.
For sure. I definitely think that Nick could come out of nowhere and he can fucking like make a big deal, and I think it should be a good move. A lot of these guys are gonna come in there, and it's gonna be a great time when they do come in here. Like, I'm excited to see. I saw the fucking Maximum Models dudes or whatever debuted in DPW. People was going crazy for them, man. Like, and they're also about to wrestle spring at the I was about to say spring break. Big Gay Brunch. And they might wrestle a spring break, but Mansoor, they're doing an indie tour, and I fuck with it. Like, that's the shit that I want to see them do, because I feel like they can get over, do stuff.
For sure, Haley. I don't want to cut you off, but we're actually trying to end up the show because I'm trying to get it to. I'm going to go to an independent wrestling show here in Sacramento tonight. Yeah. So again, we appreciate you, but we're trying to wrap it up because we want to. I'm going to go support SPW tonight. Fred Rosser is going to be there, and also
Oh hell yeah!
And who else? The guy he was just on Jack what's his name? The guy who does a lot of aerial stuff is going to be there. Jack Cartwheel's going to be there. Yeah, so I'm going to go support them today. Yeah.
Jack Cartwheel. Hell yeah! Shout out to Jack Cartwheel, the homie.
All right, John, let's wrap this up.
All right. Just want to give a few podcast shout outs real quick. First to the Sage Up Network. Thank you for always supporting and retweeting us. Really great family to be a part of. Also, MV Stream 702, the only place where you should be watching your live TV, pay-per-view events, and all sporting type events.
The only place you should ever watch anything. NB Stream.
Thank you.
No, I did it right.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Appreciate it.
And
so much.
also, let's know the plans start for $34.99. So let's throw that out there too.
Just because I write the copy doesn't mean it's correctly written.
Anyways, also shout out to Fan in the Van podcast, Steel Until Talk podcast. Is This a Bad Take? Two Dudes Sports News, the 1420 Sports Bar podcast, Austin Boyer with the Wrestling World, Ted the Hillbilly Hill, who has now gone through a gimmick change, now calls his podcast Ted's Takes. So make sure you catch him on all the audio platforms and his YouTube channel. Also with Chris and Deb, today we laughed and learned. Or if you ever plan to travel in Las Vegas, please go check out Visit Vegas Places with Coil. Carlos, any shout outs you want to throw out there?
I just want to shout out for in the room, Parlay Joe joined us for a little bit, and the rest of the Sage Up Network. Again, go on these spaces, guys. We're part of the Sage Up Network. There's a lot of good sports talk throughout the week, a lot of good fantasy football chat, a lot of good strategy. There's a little retro dance thing every Friday night. Just a shout out to those guys, and again, the Sage Up Network. Again, just please support these guys as they support us. There's some good content for everybody on there.
All right. And a big thank you to StreamYard and Spotify for podcasters on becoming our platform and home to creating and hosting the latest episodes of the Wrestling Fans Insight. They have made it possible to listen to our show live on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Xspace, but also you can hear the recorded version on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Good Pods, and much more. And if you happen to like our show, we would appreciate a 5-star review. And if possible, leave us a review for us to read on the air for future recordings. And also feel free to go to our website, www.wrestlingfansinsight.com, and subscribe and get notified of our latest releases. You will also be able to find the links to our show on your favorite listening platform. And you can also interact with us in many ways. Go to our Facebook group, The Fans of Pro Wrestling. On Twitch, The Fans of Pro Wrestling, YouTube at Wrestling Fans Insight, or Brian's Tap Out Talk at Tap Out Talk on YouTube. Also, here on X, you can follow all of us, William.
At William Hoppy 8.
I love those.
So enthusiastic.
Those short size from Will. But Carlos?
At C to the LOS 77, and also at Conquer the No, and then on Instagram, Rainbow Goodness _.
And you can follow me, John, at WF Insight Podcast. And that's going to be it. We are not going to have a Sunday Takedown live for the next 2 weeks, as we're going to be celebrating with our families with the Christmas and the New Year holidays coming up, but we will have some recorded episodes coming out. It's actually going to be a 2-part episode. We're going to give our 2023 year-end awards with many different categories. So be sure to subscribe and check out those releases as we get them out to you.
Definitely.
And then we'll also be doing a prediction show as well. So
yes, that will be in part of that 2-part show as well. So Carlos, did you have any spaces coming up these next week?
Yeah, so we'll definitely be doing a space this Wednesday after AEW Dynamite again. And the next week, I think I'll do a space as well. I'm debating about doing one on Christmas. It'll just kind of depend on because I know some people aren't out for holidays. We do everything on my family Christmas Eve. But I'll just kind of play it by ear. But definitely, I'll still be committed to doing at least one space a week during these next 2 weeks during the weekdays. So definitely this Wednesday coming up. But just keep posted, and we'll definitely share which day I decide to do the other one on. So.
All right. And well, it's that time. It's
you know
over.
what time it
Oh.
is.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Leroy. Sorry.
You know what time it is.
Let Leroy do his plug.
It's time for you guys not to be rat bastards and fickle. Also, don't be fickle. Don't be a rat bastard. Take showers. Put deodorant on. Mind your business and drink your water. Stop being those who know who hear the sound of my voice. If you tell Matt Cardona he's scared, it's the truth. And say he's not running, he is. You can follow me on That Nasty Leroy on Twitter X and Fisher Nasty Leroy on Instagram. BrainbusterTees.com/Nasty Leroy. Nasty Team Jackets coming out. New merch coming out in the year of 2024 on Foyer Wear, and you can see me at your local show, your local wrestling card, and on stand up near you. So
Awesome. Well, Carlos, you know what?
It's over.
Over. Did you say over? Nothing is over until we decide it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?
The Germans.
Well,
All right. Well, that went a little longer than I wanted.
That's our fun. Like, I'm good. I have to get on the road.